An album cover is the gateway into the concept an artist, or a group of artists, poured into their music. Sometimes the music is far greater than the cover itself, and other times, it's exactly the opposite. Here, we're taking a quick look at 100 great album covers without stopping to judge the music inside them. Think of this more as a tour through those covers, some more iconic than others, that we'd absolutely hang on our living room wall. That's the key here. Think about your wall, not necessarily the greatness of the music behind the artwork. Although in some cases, we definitely put the record on just to enjoy the room even more. Don't get mad, just enjoy the covers, and let us know which ones you love that didn't make the list. Few album covers have translated electronic music into pure iconography as effectively as Cross. The glowing crucifix floating in darkness feels religious, industrial, and futuristic all at once. With racing greyhounds frozen mid-sprint, Parklife captures Britpop at its most playful and distinctly British. It feels energetic, chaotic, and strangely nostalgic. Elegant, theatrical, and deeply stylized, Quiet Life helped define the visual language of sophisticated new wave. The image of a crab aggressively filling the frame perfectly matches the album's violent electronic energy. The fat of the land feels raw, confrontational, and unpredictable. Sophie's cover feels both human and artificial at the same time. Its glossy, uncanny aesthetic became one of the defining visual statements of modern experimental pop. The blurred pink guitar image of Loveless almost sounds loud just by looking at it. Few covers have captured music so visually. Hazy, sensual, overwhelming. Explosions, smoke, makeup, and exaggerated poses. Alive turned Kiss into comic book superheroes. The cover doesn't just document a concert, it mythologizes rock stardom itself. Its ruined political landscape and Cold War paranoia perfectly reflect thrash metal's anger and cynicism. The soft lighting and rich shadows create an atmosphere of elegance and emotional distance that mirrors the music perfectly. Combining childhood imagery with violent red paint and braille poetry, Anti feels mysterious and emotionally exposed. It feels fragile, strange, and slightly confrontational, exactly like the band's music. Billie Eilish transformed horror-inspired imagery into mainstream pop iconography. The cover feels uncanny and playful in a way that perfectly defined her early image. With its dreamlike underwater photography, Undercurrent feels suspended between jazz and cinema. Bad Music for Bad People looks dangerous, trashy, and proudly excessive, exactly as it should. The warm colors, bees, and surreal landscape create an image that feels lonely and beautiful at the same time. Inspired by the paintings of Ernie Barnes, the cover radiates movement, sensuality, and emotional warmth. Juvenile, chaotic, and instantly recognizable, Enema of the State captured late 90s pop-punk with total precision. The surreal fantasy artwork of Time and a Word feels like a doorway into progressive rock's imagination-heavy world. The exaggerated expression and theatrical composition make the new sound feel chaotic in a fascinating way. The grainy black-and-white photography gives Exile and Guyville a raw honesty that still feels deeply personal. Using almost entirely red, white, and black, Elephant turns simplicity into visual identity. Weird, colorful, and slightly ridiculous, the cover has become a cult classic of counterculture art. Sensual, surreal, and slightly unsettling, Moontan feels like a strange dream turned into rock imagery. A room slowly buried in sand turns time itself into visual art, nostalgic and hypnotic. The definitive vaporwave image. Classical sculpture and digital decay had never looked this iconic together. Elegant, glamorous, and mysterious, the cover helped define the visual language of glam rock. Inspired by Let It Be, Demon Days turned cartoon characters into genuine pop icons. Minimalist and effortlessly cool, the cover perfectly matches the album's jazz-infused atmosphere. Messy, casual, and full of references, it feels like Britpop mythology happening in real time. Bjork appears futuristic, emotional, and almost mythological. Few covers feel this unique. Early AI art turned psychedelic, a weird technological time capsule. Explosions, jokes, and total chaos, Dookie perfectly captured 90s pop-punk energy. The hidden plane crash on the back cover perfectly matches the Beastie Boys' reckless humor. Cosmic, spiritual, and surreal, the artwork feels as expansive as the music itself. Its infinite visual loop turned psychedelic design into something playful and hypnotic. An ordinary New York street became one of hip-hop's most iconic images. Bright colors and fashion illustration made Rio one of the defining visuals of the MTV era. Simple black and white design instantly transformed Blondie into visual icons. Minimal and elegant, the cover captures the quiet beauty of late-night jazz. Its hypnotic portrait feels deeply inspired by 70s soul while still looking modern. Cold blue tones and ghostly imagery create an atmosphere of isolation and grief. The Cyclops artwork feels paranoid, grotesque, theatrical, and surreal, classic King Crimson imagery. Its grainy New York skyline feels nostalgic, anxious, and strangely apocalyptic. Bright, tropical, and playful, the cover looks exactly like the music sounds. Disguising the album as a newspaper turned it into a legendary piece of physical packaging. The distorted portrait feels beautiful, futuristic, and slightly uncanny. The lightning bolt across Bowie's face became one of music's most iconic images. Its abstract painted landscape feels calm, futuristic, and quietly mysterious. Two people digging through records became the perfect image for sample culture. Its aggressive typography looked like punk attacking graphic design itself. Packed with surreal details, Dangerous feels like a dark pop carnival frozen in time. The image feels futuristic, political, and chaotic at once, hip-hop entering the 21st century. Blue shadows and empty streets defined heartbreak visually. It feels cinematic decades before that became common. Late-night radio culture turned into elegant nostalgia. Everything feels calm and carefully arranged. Sunlight, a cat, a window, complete intimacy. The cover feels genuinely lived in. Warmth became visual design. Flowing clothes and strange poses everywhere. The image already feels dramatic before the music starts. Grace Jones barely looks human here. The lighting and cigarette became fashion history overnight. Half sculpture, half pop star. Robert Crumb's comic book artwork gave the album instant identity. Messy, loud, proudly countercultural. A hand gripping a razor blade says everything instantly. Simple idea, legendary execution. Heavy metal reduced to one image. The burning mannequins caused immediate controversy. Erotic and deeply uncomfortable imagery. Partly inspired by Childhood's End, the child models were actually siblings. Rock mythology by accident. The cover became an environmental icon surprisingly early. Perfect match for Jar's futuristic sound. Its typography later inspired The Clash's London Calling directly, one of rock's first immortal images. Several alternate covers existed for the release. Some retailers reportedly censored the artwork. That only made it more legendary. Illustrated by legendary pinup artist Alberto Vargas, his work helped define Playboy aesthetics decades earlier. One of ambient music's foundational releases, Brian Eno later built an entire genre from ideas explored here. Even the cover looked futuristic. The monolith imagery references 2001, A Space Odyssey. Rock rebellion at full power. The band helped revive raw punk aesthetics for younger audiences. Nothing about the image feels polished. That became part of its charm. Inspired by a famous photograph of Princess Diana, the isolation mirrors the album perfectly. Huge emotional effect. The underwater room was built practically, not digitally. The shoot required a real submerged set. Dream Pop rarely commits this hard. The originally black and white photo was taken outside a real fur shop in London, then was hand-painted. Bowie turned a rainy street into mythology. The bizarre concept actually won a Grammy for Best Album Cover. Jazz rarely embraced imagery this theatrical. Totally memorable. Created by illustrator Michelle Granger, its giant eyes became iconic in electronic music culture. Cold War paranoia turned into sci-fi art. The skyline was recreated using breakfast objects. It later earned a Grammy nomination for packaging, one of rock's smartest visual jokes. The imagery became inseparable from thrash metal itself. Even non-metal fans recognized this cover instantly. The painting was made by artist Sam McInnes. Lord wanted the cover to feel emotionally exhausted. Modern pop with genuine artistic ambition. The baby photo became one of hip-hop's defining images. Simple concept, enormous cultural impact. Impossible to separate from 90s rap. Painted by Russell Oliver in a style inspired by Caravaggio, representing love and acceptance colliding against opposition. The artwork reflects the album's obsession with apocalypse. Very dramatic, very Muse. The windows changed depending on the album sleeve underneath. Its packaging was wildly ambitious for the time. a masterpiece of physical album design. The cover helps cement the duo's hyper-digital aesthetic. It feels intentionally artificial and dreamlike, very online pop music. Some countries replaced the original cover entirely. The glove photograph became instantly iconic anyway. Indie rock entered the 2000s here. The screaming face emerging from Earth became psychedelic legend. Almost no budget, enormous impact, pure funk horror imagery. Shot like a cheap street gang photo on purpose, that simplicity later shaped punk aesthetics everywhere. Thousands of bands copied this formula. Photographed in front of the White House, the image turned political rage into hip-hop iconography, one of rap's most important covers. Photographed by Robert Mapplethorpe, the androgynous styling challenged rock imagery at the time. Punk sophistication. The graphic comes from actual Pulsar data, originally found inside a science encyclopedia. Post-punk's most famous image. Designed by Andy Warhol, early vinyl editions had a real zipper attached. Expensive, unforgettable. The impossible pose was created through photo manipulation, long before Photoshop became normal. Grace Jones looked superhuman. The image was shot in front of a mural in Brooklyn. Its colorful styling matched MTV's early visual era perfectly, 80s pop at its best. The photo references real civil rights era imagery. Its emotional weight matches the album perfectly, hip-hop with historical memory. The screaming face was painted by Barry Godber. He died shortly after the album's release, prog rock's most haunting image. The beauty queen concept came directly from Courtney Love's fascination with fame and collapse. Its pastel pageant aesthetic hides something deeply underneath. The typography directly references Elvis Presley. The photo captures Paul Simonon smashing his bass live, one of rock's greatest action shots. The artwork was inspired by a real murder case photo. Raymond Pettibon transformed it into underground comic art, coolness through pure minimalism. The band never even planned a complicated photo shoot. Fans later created endless conspiracy theories from the image. A random crosswalk became historic. Designed by Andy Warhol, early pressings let listeners literally peel the banana sticker. Pure art rock. The Baby later sued over the artwork as an adult. The image became inseparable from 90s alternative culture. The prism design was chosen in seconds during a meeting. It became one of the best-selling shirts ever afterward. Dozens of celebrities appear throughout the collage. The production costs were enormous for 1967. Album covers became high art here,